Before we dive into this story, please subscribe to my channel for more captivating tales like this one. I stood at the edge of the grand dining hall, my heart pounding as I adjusted my name tag. The chandeliers above glittered like stars, casting light on the elite guests. I was just a staff member, hired to serve at this billionaire's gala. The air buzzed with wealth and power, conversations dripping with arrogance. My role was simple: smile, pour wine, and stay invisible. But invisibility wasn't easy when eyes lingered too long. The billionaire, Mr. Harrington, presided at the head of the table. His sharp gaze scanned the room, landing on me briefly. I felt a chill, not knowing why. My uniform felt tighter, my place clearer than ever. I moved silently, refilling glasses with practiced grace. Every laugh, every clink of crystal, reminded me of my status. I was here to work, not to belong. Yet something in the air felt electric tonight. A moment was coming, though I couldn't name it. All I knew was I had to keep my head down. The dinner progressed, plates of exquisite food served with precision. I weaved through the crowd, balancing trays with ease. Mr. Harrington's voice boomed, commanding attention as he spoke. His guests hung on every word, their laughter forced and loud. I caught snippets of talk: stocks, yachts, private islands. It was a world so far from mine, it felt like fiction. My hands stayed steady, but my mind wandered briefly. I dreamed of more than this, of a life beyond serving. A guest waved me over, her diamond bracelet catching the light. I poured her wine, careful not to spill a drop. She barely acknowledged me, her eyes on Mr. Harrington. He was charming, undeniably, but there was a coldness to him. I sensed it in the way he dismissed his staff. I moved back to my station, blending into the shadows. The night felt endless, but I kept my smile intact. Then it happened. His voice cut through the hum of the room like a blade. "She's not wife material, just staff," Mr. Harrington said, gesturing at me. Laughter erupted, sharp and cruel, from his inner circle. My face burned, but I kept my posture straight. The words stung, slicing through my carefully built armor. I was used to being overlooked, but this was different. It was public, deliberate, meant to humiliate. I clutched the wine bottle tighter, my knuckles whitening. Guests glanced at me, some smirking, others indifferent. I wanted to disappear, to flee this gilded cage. But running wasn't an option, not with rent due. I forced myself to move, pouring for the next guest. My hands trembled slightly, but I hid it well. Inside, anger simmered, mixing with shame. I wasn't just staff, I was a person. But to them, I was nothing. The laughter died down, but the sting lingered like a fresh wound. I retreated to the corner, my heart racing with fury. How dare he reduce me to a punchline? I'd worked hard to be here, to earn my place. My dreams were bigger than this room, bigger than his wealth. I glanced at the dance floor, where a few guests swayed. The band played a soft waltz, elegant and haunting. I'd always loved dancing, though I rarely had the chance. As a girl, I'd twirled in my living room, dreaming of ballrooms. Now I was here, but only as a servant. The irony wasn't lost on me. I took a deep breath, steadying myself. I wouldn't let his words define me. I was more than just staff. And somehow, I'd prove it. The night wasn't over yet. A guest approached me, an older woman with kind eyes and silver hair. She asked for water, her voice gentle, unlike the others. I nodded, grateful for her warmth, and fetched it quickly. As I handed her the glass, she smiled softly. "You carry yourself well, dear," she said quietly. Her words were a lifeline, pulling me from the edge. I thanked her, my voice barely above a whisper. She patted my hand before returning to her table. For a moment, I felt seen, not as staff, but as me. It was enough to reignite my resolve. I straightened, brushing off the earlier humiliation. The band's music swelled, filling the room with beauty. I glanced at the dance floor again, an idea forming. Maybe tonight wasn't just about serving. The evening shifted when Mr. Harrington stood to make a toast. His voice was smooth, dripping with confidence and charm. He spoke of success, of power, of legacy, his legacy. The guests clapped, their admiration almost palpable. I stood by the wall, watching, my tray empty for now. His words were polished, but they felt hollow to me. I'd seen the way he treated those beneath him. His empire was built on people like me, invisible labor. I clenched my jaw, pushing down the resentment. The band paused, and he announced a dance. Guests rose, pairing off for the waltz. I watched, my heart tugging at the sight. Dancing was freedom, expression, everything this night lacked. I longed to join, but I knew my place. Then the unexpected happened. A young man approached me, bowing slightly. He was a guest, his suit pristine, his smile genuine. "May I have this dance?" he asked, extending his hand. I froze, glancing around, sure it was a mistake. Staff didn't dance at events like this. But his eyes were kind, encouraging. I hesitated, my heart pounding with both fear and excitement. Mr. Harrington's words echoed in my mind, mocking me. I looked at the man, then at the dance floor. This was my chance to be more than just staff. I set my tray down, my hands shaking slightly. "Yes," I said, my voice steady despite my nerves. I took his hand, and we stepped onto the floor. The music enveloped us, a slow, elegant waltz that felt like a dream. I moved with him, my steps light but precise. Years of practice in my small apartment paid off. We glided across the floor, and I felt alive for the first time tonight. Guests turned to watch, their murmurs growing softer. I caught Mr. Harrington's gaze. His eyes narrowed, lips tight. He hadn't expected this, hadn't expected me to shine. My partner smiled, unaware of the tension, guiding me effortlessly. I let the music take over, my body moving with grace. Each step was a defiance, a rejection of his cruel words. I wasn't just staff. I was a dancer, a dreamer. The room seemed to hold its breath. As we twirled, I noticed other guests watching, their expressions shifting. Some were surprised, others intrigued, a few even admiring. The older woman from earlier clapped softly, her smile wide. My confidence grew with every step, every turn. I wasn't invisible anymore. I was the center of the room. My partner leaned in, whispering, "You're incredible." I smiled, warmth spreading through me. The music swelled, and we moved faster, perfectly in sync. I could feel Mr. Harrington's stare burning into me. But I didn't care. This moment was mine, not his. I was rewriting the narrative he'd tried to force on me. The waltz was my rebellion, my triumph. The song ended, and the room erupted in applause, not just for us, but for me. Guests stood, clapping, their faces lit with admiration. My partner bowed, and I curtsied, my heart soaring. I glanced at Mr. Harrington, whose face was a mask of barely concealed shock. He hadn't expected his staff to steal the spotlight. I stood tall, my chin high, no longer invisible. The older woman approached, her eyes twinkling. "You've got spirit, my dear," she said. Others nodded, some even raising their glasses to me. I'd turned his insult into my victory. The night had changed, and so had I. I wasn't just staff anymore, I was unforgettable. The applause faded, but the energy in the room had shifted. I returned to my station, my heart still racing from the dance. Guests whispered as I passed, their eyes following me with newfound respect. I kept my expression neutral, professional, but inside I was glowing. Mr. Harrington's cruel words had backfired spectacularly. I'd shown everyone I was more than his label. The band started a new song, and the dance floor filled again. I picked up my tray, resuming my duties with a quiet pride. No one laughed at me now. No one dared. I caught the young man's eye across the room. He winked. I smiled back, grateful for his kindness. This night was mine, no matter what came next. As I served, I overheard snippets of conversation about my dance. "Who is she?" one guest asked, her tone curious. "She's got talent," another replied, impressed. I kept moving, pouring wine, clearing plates, but I felt their eyes. It was a strange sensation, being seen after years of blending in. I'd always been good at staying unnoticed, but not tonight. Tonight, I'd stepped into the light, and it felt right. Mr. Harrington stayed silent, his jaw tight as he watched the room. I wondered what he was thinking, if he regretted his words. Probably not. He didn't seem the type. But I didn't need his approval. I had the rooms, and that was enough. The older woman approached again, this time with a friend in tow. "You must tell me where you learned to dance," she said warmly. I smiled, explaining how I'd taught myself from videos and old books. Her friend, a man with a kind face, nodded approvingly. "You have a gift," he said, handing me his card. "I run a dance studio. Call me." I stared at the card, my heart skipping a beat. Was this real? A chance to do what I loved? I thanked them, slipping the card into my pocket. The possibility felt like a dream, but I held on to it. For now, I had to focus on the job. But hope was alive in me. The night wore on, and the guests grew merrier, their glasses emptying faster. I moved swiftly, keeping up with their demands. My feet ached, but my spirit was light. Every step I took felt like a continuation of the waltz. I was no longer just serving, I was performing in my own way. Mr. Harrington's table was quieter now, his charm less effective. I caught him glancing at me, his expression unreadable. Did he feel challenged? Embarrassed? I didn't care. I'd shown him and everyone that I was more than his cruel jest. I was a force, and they'd all seen it. The night felt alive with possibility. A new guest approached me, a woman in a stunning emerald gown. She complimented my dancing, her voice sincere. "You lit up the room," she said, her eyes bright. I thanked her, feeling a warmth I hadn't expected. She asked about my life, my dreams, and I hesitated. Opening up wasn't easy, especially here. But her kindness disarmed me, and I shared a little. I told her about my love for dance, my small apartment, my big dreams. She listened, nodding as if she understood. "Keep dancing," she said before walking away. Her words stayed with me, fueling my resolve. I wasn't done shining yet. The band played another waltz, and I felt the pull again. I wanted to dance, to lose myself in the music once more. But I was still on duty, my tray heavy with glasses. I glanced at the dance floor, where couples moved in elegant circles. The young man who'd danced with me was there, now with another partner. He caught my eye and smiled, a silent acknowledgement. I smiled back, feeling a connection beyond words. I didn't know his name, but I'd never forget his kindness. He'd given me a moment to shine, and I was grateful. I turned back to my work, but the music stayed with me. It was a reminder of who I could be. Mr. Harrington stood again, calling for another toast. His voice was steady, but I sensed a strain. He spoke of unity, of celebration, but his eyes flicked to me. Was it my imagination, or was there a challenge in his gaze? I met his eyes briefly, unflinching. I wouldn't cower, not after tonight. The guests clapped, but the energy felt different now. They weren't just his anymore. I'd claimed a piece of their attention. I moved through the crowd, my tray steady, my head high. His words couldn't touch me now. I was more than just staff. I was a story they'd remember. As the night neared its end, The guests began to leave. I cleared tables, my movements automatic but my mind alive. I replayed the waltz, the applause, the kindness of strangers. I'd come here expecting nothing but a paycheck. Instead, I'd found something more, a spark of possibility. The dance studio card burned in my pocket, a tangible hope. I didn't know if I'd call, but the option was there. For the first time, I felt like my dreams weren't so far away. I glanced at Mr. Harrington, who was deep in conversation. He hadn't spoken to me since his cruel remark. Good. I didn't need his words anymore. The older woman found me again as I cleared her table. "You're destined for more," she said, her voice firm. I smiled, unsure how to respond to such faith. She pressed a note into my hand, her touch warm. "For your future," she whispered, then walked away. I unfolded the note later, a generous tip and a message, "Keep shining." My eyes stung, but I blinked back tears. Her kindness, the applause, the dance, it all meant something. I wasn't invisible anymore, not to them, not to myself. I tucked the note away, a treasure to hold on to. This night had changed me, and I wasn't going back. The last guests left, and the hall grew quiet, the chandeliers dimming. I stood alone, surveying the empty tables, the scattered glasses. The band had packed up, the dance floor silent. But the music still echoed in my mind, a melody of triumph. I'd faced humiliation and turned it into something beautiful. Mr. Harrington's words had meant to break me, but they'd built me instead. I was stronger, bolder, ready for more. I gathered my things, the dance studio card safe in my pocket. The night was over, but my story was just beginning. I walked out of the hall, my steps light, my heart full. I was ready for whatever came next. The next fall, I started senior year with a fire in my chest. Colleges sent letters, offering dance scholarships that felt like dreams. Dance programs from top schools wanted me, the scholarship kid. I read each letter, imagining myself on their stages. My mom and I planned campus visits, her eyes sparkling with pride. She'd never been prouder, she told me over dinner. Ethan was still around, but he felt like a ghost now. His crew didn't bother me. I was too focused. The trophy wasn't my peak, it was my launch pad. I aimed higher, dreaming of global stages. My heart raced at the thought of what lay ahead. I was ready to carve my name in the dance world. This was my time, and I wouldn't waste it. At a regional competition, I met dancers who mirrored my journey. Kids who'd fought for their spot, just like me. We bonded over late-night talks about grit and dreams. They'd seen my viral video, calling me an inspiration. I blushed, but their words sank deep. My win wasn't just mine, it lifted others up. I started mentoring younger dancers, sharing my lessons. Ethan's world felt so small compared to this. Mine was expanding, connecting, creating. I taught them to dance with heart, not just steps. Their smiles fueled my purpose. I was building something bigger than a trophy. My choreography grew bolder, weaving styles in ways that broke rules. I mixed hip-hop with contemporary, fearless and free. Coaches praised my vision, calling it revolutionary. Every performance was a story, my story told through movement. I wasn't just the scholarship kid now. I was a creator, a leader, an artist. The trophy sat quietly at home, its meaning deeper. It wasn't about beating Ethan anymore. It was about becoming me unapologetically. Every dance was a declaration of my strength. I was writing my legacy, one move at a time. Ethan's family threw a gala, and I got an unexpected invite. I went, wearing confidence like a crown. Ethan avoided me, but others didn't. They asked about my journey. I spoke with ease, owning the room's attention. The trillionaire's son wasn't the star here. I was. A woman offered to fund my training, her eyes kind. I thanked her, heart pounding with possibility. The world was opening doors I'd never imagined. I stood taller, knowing I belonged. My dance was my voice, and it was loud. Winter brought bigger competitions, and I claimed more wins. My name was on flyers, crowds chanting it. I soaked it in, but stayed grounded. My mom's words echoed, "Stay true, Mija." I did, dancing for the girl I'd been. The one Ethan mocked, the one who doubted herself. She was still in me, pushing me forward. The trophy was a milestone, not the end. I dreamed of world stages, of inspiring millions. Each win built my confidence. I was unstoppable, and I knew it. A national dance show contacted me for an audition. It was huge, my biggest chance yet. I prepared for weeks, refining every move, every breath. The audition was intense, but I thrived under pressure. The judges' smiles told me I'd nailed it. Days later, they called. I was in. My mom screamed with joy. Mia cried. Ethan's mockery was a faint whisper now. I was building a legacy, step by step. The show was my next stage, and I was ready. This was my dream, coming alive. The show aired, and my performance stunned the nation. Social media exploded with praise, my name trending. I wasn't surprised. I'd earned this. Fans, dancers, and dreamers sent messages. I answered as many as I could, touched by their words. My story was inspiring others, and that meant everything. Ethan's name never surfaced. He was irrelevant. The world saw me for who I was. I saw myself, too, strong, fearless, meant for this. Every dance was a victory, every step a promise. By spring, top dance companies sent offers. I chose one that felt like home, a place to grow. It meant moving to a new city, starting fresh. I was nervous but electrified. My mom packed my trophy with care. "Take it with you," she said, tearing up. I smiled. I didn't need it. The strength was in me now. Ethan's words had sparked this fire, but I'd outgrown them. I was dancing for something bigger. My future was mine to shape, and it was bright. Moving day arrived, and I felt invincible. The new city buzzed with energy, full of promise. My first rehearsal was electric. I held my own with pros. They respected my fire, my drive. The trophy sat on my new shelf, a quiet reminder. Not of one night, but of my grit. I'd turned mockery into magic, doubt into destiny. Ethan was a footnote in my story. I was writing the rest, and it was breathtaking. Every step felt like a new beginning. Looking back, I'm grateful for that graduation night. Not for Ethan's cruelty, but for my defiance. I could have crumbled, but I soared. The trophy was just the start of my journey. Now, I chase world stages, inspire others, live fearlessly. I'm not the girl who can't dance. I'm the woman who does, fiercely. Every move is a testament to my strength. My story's just beginning, and it's mine to tell. I'll keep dancing, no matter what. The world is watching, and I'm ready. Thanks for listening to my journey. If you love this story, please subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales. Hit that button, and let's keep this adventure going together.